Good morning, my friends. You're seeing a sick alliance between the left wing and Muslim extremists. You tell a random leftoid Islam is right about women, they're not going to know what you're talking about. So this is real clear politics. This has always been I've wondered why the leftoid aggrieved groups have pulled Muslims into their circle, because Muslims are not tolerant. They are more like radical right-wing evangelicals than the peacenik, tolerance for all except what we disagree with leftoids, and you'll see why. So the virulent anti-Israel protests that are kicking up across America and Europe these past week throw a glaring light on the bizarre alliance between left-wing activists and militant Muslims. It's an odd combination. It's always been an odd combination. That's been a bedrock of political activism at universities and in the streets for years. I don't know how this particular branch of code got disseminated amongst all these leftoids, especially in the universities and across the large cities in Europe, which imported a bunch of, quote, refugees. And Europe will probably be dominated by Muslim countries in about, 30 years. Except Hungary and Poland, curiously. So they didn't take any of these fuckers. Anyway, it began in universities, where it now dominates political discourse, and it threatens Jewish students. Now, I do point out certain people are Jewish all the time, because it seems like Beijing Biden is full of incompetent Jews, much like Barry Soetoro's government. Now, people call me racist. It may be fair, but to point out that to have Jews are basically 2% of the population. And to point out that the odds of having 3 Jews in a row heading the Federal Reserve, being Greenspan, Bernanke, and the crazy aunt Janet Yellen, who, my God, I never want to hear that bitch talk again, is about 1 in 125,000. But hey, that's just math. Call math racist, whatever. And the leftoids and the muzzies are intimidating anyone brave enough to voice their dissent. Now, one of my best friends is Muslim. She doesn't understand this either, so we can now see how it spread so far beyond the campus in the last week. Protests could get ugly. They could get ugly quickly. So stay out of cities if you can. Stay vigilant if you can't. Well, stay vigilant anyway, my friends. Don't live your life in fear, but stay vigilant. So what makes the alliance so strange are the deep-seated differences between leftists and Muslim fundamentalists over core beliefs. The left supports women's rights, except for them to play sports against non-men, and full equality in the workplace and public sphere. They actually get preferential treatment in the workplace these days, and militant Muslims oppose them. They want women covered up and not to be able to drive and get educated. But hey, strange bedfellows. The left supports gay rights and gay marriage. Muslims toss gays off buildings. So the strangest sign I've seen so far is gays for Palestine. Yeah. Go to Gaza City with that sign, see how fast you get tossed off a fucking building. Anyway, no one would dare hold a public pride march in Pakistan, Iran, or Saudi Arabia. And most divisions of major U.S. corporations do not adopt the rainbow for their Saudi Arabian Twitter presence. Go to BMW of Middle East or Saudi Arabia in June next year. You will not see them mention anything about Pride Month. The left supports abortion rights up until birth, probably up until about 6 months after birth. Militant Muslims oppose them. Again, leftoids love dead babies, my friends. Very strange. The left supports religious freedom, including the right to reject religion altogether. A lot of leftoids have no beliefs at all. They are atheists. That's pretty much why they fall for anything, I believe. Militant Muslims believe heretics should be executed. The left rallies against book banning, especially child pornography in public grade school libraries. Militant Muslims embrace it for any book they believe insults Islam or supports Israel. Muslims will execute cartoonists for even making fun of Muhammad. So, Europe, it's a strange thing. You shouldn't have brought those refugees over. Just saying. The left opposes the death penalty. Militant Muslims endorse it and praise their governments for using it. And these beliefs are not marginal, they're foundational, and they're profoundly opposed to each other. Still, the two groups have formed a long-standing alliance. Very odd. How do they deal with these profound differences, and why are they allied? They deal with the differences very simply. They never talk about them, and when they act jointly, but primarily against Israel and its supporters across the world, they have joined together to form a powerful coalition against shared enemies. They would destroy that partnership by raising issues where they differ. It's better to focus on their agreement, which goes beyond hating Israel to claim Western capitalism has oppressed, degraded, and ruined the world. And they're really pissed off about capitalism. They hate it, as they wear their Vans sneakers, live with their mother in their nice, cozy McMansion, and shitpost about Trump supporters being Nazis on their iPhone. And it is very strange that leftoids now want to genocide all Israelis. I don't want to do that, but they do. And then they claim that I'm a Nazi for wanting free speech and the ability to own just a weak-ass semi-automatic rifle. I'm a fucking Nazi. I hate The Last Jedi. I'm a fucking Nazi, but they want to genocide Israelis, and they are the righteous ones. So the United States is still the world's greatest power for a very limited time, I fear, but it is tagged as the main source of malignancy at home and abroad. Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America are poor because they've been oppressed by capitalist nations and their corporations. If they have terrible governments, it's only because the West has installed and sustained them. The critique is based on muddled but shared ideology. The heart of this ideology is illiberalism and illogic. Both groups are fundamentally opposed to the forbearance of individual differences, including very different views and goals, which are essential to Western constitutional democracies. In their place, the opponents rely on a toxic brew of ideas drawn from Karl Marx and all these other shitheads. The cultural Marxism of the Frankfurt School, which was imported to the United States, unfortunately, and the intellectual father of the Muslim Brotherhood and its subsidiary in Gaza, Hamas. So this goes on and on and on. It's a long article by Real Clear Politics. Link in the description below. You can read it for yourself. We're not going to blather on about this because no one made it this far. They say it's social justice, but they have absolutely no idea what to replace the world with. And again, leftoids think that, we bring in our version of communism, the one that's done right. All these other right-wing haters, racists, will be just gutter trash proles. And I'll be, a regional, governor, and I'll be able to, wake up whenever in my free large house, drive my free car, maybe my free EV, and go work for a couple hours a day in my government Politburo office, and then in my spare time write slam poetry on SoundCloud and just eat for free wherever I want because I'm a big badass. But no, they'll end up on the same side of the ditch as probably you and I, my friends. So anyway, that's that long video. Link in the description for this article if you want to read it yourself. Pick up some non-perishable food. Stay vigilant, my friends, and God bless.